Well, time now to take a look at what's making headlines in the newspapers, and let's see what some of the papers in the country are leading with this morning. And we start with the Mail and Guardian, seeing that it's a Friday, this weekly, of course. Just taking a look here, what the Mail and Guardian is saying. Well, the game of polls, and going there and looking at a few people saying Mavuso Msimang fed up with ANC corruption. John Steenhuisen, not the face the funders want. Roger Jardine, new Cyril for business. And Jacob Zuma starting his own party, possibly. That is what is on the front page of this morning's Mail and Guardian. Moving on, and the next one we have is the Business Day. Marokane tipped to lead ESCOM. Cabinet expected to rubber stamp this decision on Friday, and Marokane previously served as head of Group Capital. So it would seem as though there's a lot of speculation that Dan Marokane will be stepping into the hot seat as the new CEO of ESCOM, and that it will be expected to be named shortly. And this, of course, also following some speculation. And in a statement last night, ESCOM said it did note, because Bloomberg were the ones who were running with the story, and ESCOM says they noted that Bloomberg report, but they declined to comment on the speculation that Dan Marokane would land in the hot seat. Also on that front page, Vumatel owner has 25 billion for fiber rollout, setting them up nicely to be competitive in that space. And NERSA approves 98 projects. The National Energy Regulator of South Africa processed the registration of electricity generation projects with a combined capacity of 900 megawatts in the second quarter. That's July to September. And the power will come from 98 new facilities with an investment value of about 17 billion rand. So those are some of the stories on the front page there. Moving on to the Star. Now, up top there, Jermaine Craig. Yeah, this is such a hard one. Perfect gentleman, Jermaine Craig, but also so loved and so revered among all his colleagues and everybody who got to know him. Passed away very suddenly this past week, and a memorial service was held at the FNB Stadium for Jermaine Craig, and family, friends and co-workers gathered yesterday to bid farewell to the former communications manager of the 2010 World Cup, and he was also a former executive editor of the Star and the Cape Argus. He will be laid to rest tomorrow in Bryanston in Johannesburg. Msimang's exit setback for ANC. Now the resignation of the ANC stalwart and Deputy President of the ANC Veterans League, Dr. Mavuso Msimang, has set tongues wagging, and Msimang, of course, very scathing in that four-page letter in which he outlines his reasons for actually quitting the ruling party. Support for suspended Kune. Kaizer Chiefs decided to enroll the goalkeeper in support programs, which will help him with his personal growth, and temporarily suspending him from the team yesterday. And added charges loom for child trafficking pair. And this story, of course, we also carried in the news. And it is, of course, about the Zimbabwean pair who were caught with 14 undocumented children. And that, of course, is one that comes on the back of an incident on the weekend that saw Zimbabwe and South Africa go back and forth on whether children in great numbers were turned back from the South African border. All right, moving on to the next one. The Citizen, you've wrecked our country. And it is, of course, again, that Mavuso Msimang story. And that one being carried in most of the papers today, and they also basically outline what was said by the struggle stalwart in leaving the ANC. Send NHI back to Parliament, that we looked at yesterday as well. SANDF, what death squads. So SANDF held a media briefing yesterday in response to what Open Secrets had basically reported about some of these activities, nefarious activities within the South African National Defence Force. And finally, we have the Sowetan and their front page this morning. Let's just take a look there. I think I'm just trying to open it on my side. Apologies there. Where's our money? So this is, of course, the lead story for Sowetan. And this has to do with the Road Accident Fund. And you see now, this is what happens. We try to open it there, we struggled, and now I try to open it and now I'm struggling. But basically, just a follow up with regard to what has happened to people's monies that were paid out by the Road Accident Fund, and also an expose of some of the shady dealings that were taking place by some lawyers, and a specific expose of a Joburg lawyer, and also miners stage underground sit-in, and day 2 of that particular matter. ANC has serious problems, and the Kune story of Usum Simang and Itumeleng Kune, most papers going with those stories as well. And don't forget our very own SABC website, www.sabcnews.com. That's where you can, of course, find more stories, some that are carried by the SABC, and of course podcasts of interviews that we have carried as well. So that's where we leave the newspapers and what's making headlines on our portal.